I just want to talk about cults and religious groups and how 99% of these groups work. Even most secret societies, the Freemasons or anything like that, they follow a similar format. And how do I know this? Because I went to like 1,000 churches, just trying to meet normal people, trying to find a good community to be a part of. And it was very unsuccessful, and that's why I created Hraftzer Society. But what these people do basically, and this is a good way to defend yourself against this if it ever happens to you, they start off by trying to draw you in with some honey, some sugar, They're going to say, whatever your problem is, we have the answer. Whatever you tell them your problem is, they're going to tell you that their church and the Bible is the answer. So if you say, I can't find a job, they're going to say, well, I too couldn't find a job, and I read the Bible and prayed on it, and I found a job the next day. Or they'll say, come to our church, because somebody at our church probably will have a job for you. If you say, well, I'm lonely, I can't find a girlfriend or something like that, they'll say, well, Jesus provides that, and we had a person at our church that was in the same situation, and they read the Bible, and then they found a girlfriend the next day. Or, you'll meet one at the church, or no matter what you say, they're going to say that they have the answer for you. And they'll even be nice to you. They'll even be like, oh, let me give you a ride. Well, maybe not everybody, but even some of the churches, they'll be like, we'll give you a ride to church, and here's a free dinner, and here's a free jar of honey. And, so they're kind of really nice to you at first. And they try to say anything to get you in, and you're like, well, okay, whatever. As soon as you show up and you start going to church, they're going to say, the Bible has all the answers. Or the Book of Mormon, or the Torah, or whatever they're using. This has all the answers. And they'll say, okay, let's study the Bible. When we meet at church, we study the Bible. And we talk about morality and Jesus and God and things like that. I feel like there's something on my head. I don't know why, but... Anyway, they're going to say these things. Hopefully there's not a tick crawling around on my head because I was just out in the woods, but... No, And at first they're going to tell you, the Bible tells you to love your neighbor and stay off the crack and diet and exercise and eat right and common sense things that you're going to agree with. But they'll also say, well, this thing has all the answers, but you know what? I've never learned anything profound from the Bible or any of these religious books. I've never learned how to make $1 million. Or how to really vastly increase my athletic ability, or there's nothing that I've gotten out of the book that I'm like, whoa, that changed my life. It's always just common sense thing. You think you're learning something, but they're just telling you what you already know, things that you already know. Oh, there's bad people in the world, or the sun rises in the east, and God knows this because He's a genius. They're going to tell you things that are kind of common sense typically. Sometimes they'll lay on heavy, crazy stuff a little early, like the world is 5,000 years old, or, but eventually it's going to get to the point where they start manipulating you. So you started going on a regular basis. Once they've hooked you in with all these promises. God is going to provide a job, God's going to provide this and that, and sometimes they might even give that to you. Because they know that you're kind of like going to be their slave anyway. If you have a job, they're probably going to get that income and everything else. But the manipulation starts when they say, well, the Bible wants you to give 10% of your money to the church. The Bible wants you to wear these clothes. The Bible wants you to vote for this candidate. The Bible thinks you should be against abortion or something like that, They're going to keep laying it on and laying it on and laying it on. Until either you just leave, you get tired of it and you leave, or you just keep getting milked. And they're going to take more and more. Well, the Bible says you should volunteer your time. The Bible says you should let the preacher sleep with your wife or something, Who knows? It depends on the church and the individuals how far they're going to go with the manipulation and, how cult-like the place is. But they're all like that to some degree. They're all really cults. because they're looking out for the interest of the leader rather than the interest of its members. Now they're going to help their members in so much as, you know, if you have a job, they're going to be able to milk you for some of that money or things like that. They're going to help you to an extent, but I don't think it's really worth it. And that's where I just got tired of and created Hraftzer Society. But, you know, even Freemasons and things like that, they're going to do similar. It's going to be a similar process, believe me. And you may even benefit from it, but you're primarily serving a leader. You're doing what you're told. It's about control. It's about controlling you and submerging your will. And it's a slow process. It's like putting a frog into water and slowly turning up the heat so that you don't really notice it. You know, if they started out, you know, asking you to sign over your will to the church and give 10% of your income to them and this and that, you probably nobody would do it. But when they kind of incrementally turn up the heat in baby steps, and they start off with, you know, they don't ask anything from you in the beginning. You know, they're going to offer you everything, you know, supposedly. But with Hraftzer Society, I'm not trying to manipulate anybody, and I don't want anyone to manipulate me. In all honesty, I just want good business partners. I want good friends, and I would like a community and share camaraderie. For example, if I put an ad on Craigslist and say, I would like to start a carpet cleaning business, and I need some business partners, I would get 1,000 replies, but they would all be criminals and lowlifes and drug addicts and people with low IQs, people with psychological problems and loser mentalities, and why try, we'll just fail anyway, and they, you know, just people that are dysfunctional. I mean, I could respond to all 1,000 people. All of them are gonna burn me. And for me to have any success, I have to undergo really stringent character evaluations. I would have to say, hey, I need references from you. I need to do a criminal background check. I'm going to need to get to know you over a period of time, maybe a year, maybe more. You know, I may need to do a drug test on you, you know. So, I mean, just for something simple, like a simple business partnership or even to hire an employee. And it's similar if I try to get a roommate. You know, it'll be more replies than I can handle, but it's every single person can't pay their rent. They're dishonest, you know, they're dysfunctional, they have all kinds of problems, they can't behave properly. And I end up losing money having roommates that are like eating my food and not paying the rent. And then I gotta pay money to evict them and things, you know, like they're a liability, they're not really an asset. And it's similar if I just put out an ad like free Kung Fu lessons. I'd like someone to train with. We'll meet in the park. You know, very few people will be interested in it. If they are interested in it, it's there's always a catch, you know, there's something wrong with them. They want to learn how to beat up someone so they can take their purse or something, you know. It'll be, I mean, I've just lived long enough and dealt with this long enough that I know. So what happens if I have to give everybody evaluations, if I have to constantly do background checks and character references and get to know people for an extended period of time before I can interact with them on any level, why not just create a society? Why not just make a club and we evaluate everyone who gets into the club, and then once we're in there and we have a group of people, we can just draw on each other for those things. If somebody needs a roommate, they can go to the club or the society, the community, if you will, and they know that everyone there has been evaluated. Everyone has a high level of intelligence and altruism, and you know, they're not criminals, they're not drug addicts, they're not screwed up. You know, everybody kind of knows each other. There's a level of trust, there's a level of competence, and you know, that's what I'm looking to establish. You know, where I can just have a group of people and we have a community and we meet on a regular basis and we can share opportunities, share information, and you know, whenever you need something like that, like I need a roommate or a business partner, I have a joint investment project, or even I'd like to go on a trip to Las Vegas, you know, I'm looking for people who can chip in on a hotel room or something, you know, to save money on that, or even if money's not an object to you, even to say, well, I'd like to have some people with me to have fun. I don't want to go by myself. or go on a cruise or something. I'd like to bring people with me, not just for business, but for pleasure, for entertainment, for camaraderie, things like that. So for all things in life, and especially if you have civic problems or problems with crime, you can organize a neighborhood watch or have legal help, someone that's going to serve as a witness for you in a court case or something like that. If you have to take someone to court, or you have to go after a criminal and have a witness or something like that, it helps a lot to have people for those things. Just, you need a community, you need references. If you get a job or something, it really helps to know people that can serve as a character reference. So, that's all it is. It's really simple, and it serves a niche out there that is not being fulfilled, because there's no other groups that do this. There's thousands and thousands of churches and clubs that cater to dysfunctional people, and there's thousands and thousands of them that are trying to manipulate people and take advantage of them and tell them what to do and tell them how to live their lives. I already know how to live my life. I don't need someone to tell me what to do. I don't need someone to tell me how to live or to preach morality to me. I can read a book, I'm competent, I'm smart, I can figure things out for myself. I just need good associates. I need good friends. And it's really simple, it's really a simple concept. It's so simple that it eludes people. They think, well, there must be something more to it. Yeah, we can get as complicated as you want, and you can read the book and everything, but I'm not asking you, I'm not saying this book has the answers or that you need to believe in it or anything. Just, there's a book that outlines basic ideas and organization of the community, It just is what it is. So, there's no, I think I explore religion and I explore these things, but it's not a religious community. It's like a society. It's just a group of people that come together as a community. And that's all for the sake of normal human interaction. And the main quality of this group is that we filter out low competence people. We have a minimum intelligence, minimum behavioral standards, and that benefits everyone. So, that's all there is to it.